Hello, hello, hello. One is not sure if anyone is going to be around today, or at least this time of day. Yeah. I hope everyone is having a I came back and had a little nap. I was babysitting because I was exhausted. The kids took it out of me, but I thought I would just see if anyone's around. Probably not, but it doesn't matter. If it's not around, I'll just talk to my damn self, which I'm pretty used to be fair, or should be by now. I like my own company. I tend to have a great old conversation with myself. Good afternoon. How are you, sweet bee? I hope you are good. Sorry, I was just I don't know what I'm doing, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I don't know what I'm doing. Good, good. I'm glad that you're good. I tell you, man, bloody babysitting can be exhausting, especially when they're not your kids. Like when they're your own, I think it's not so bad. But when it's like your nephews and your nieces and stuff, like every bang, I was like, "What's going on? What's that?" And they're like, "It's nothing. It's just me." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, fair enough." Like I think I like irritated the crap out of them.
Well, isn't that what
I know. They were like, "It's nothing. It's me." And I'm like, "Okay, great." Hubby's watching the college football game in between working on our car. Oh yeah, somebody told me it's college football season. Somebody was watching the girls football, I think it was, or girls match or something the other day. I don't know what it was now. American like football is a huge thing though, isn't it? Like most Americans like the football. I'm not really into any kind of sport apart from rugby, and that's only if Wales are playing. If it's the grand, like the big one, and Wales is in it, then I care. Other than that, only when Wales is playing do I really care what other thing. We don't mind Ireland winning either. We're quite okay with Ireland winning. It's got to be Welsh or Irish, though. I'm over it already. Yeah. And it's only the beginning of the season, isn't it, Sweet Pea? Isn't it only the beginning of the football season? Or am I wrong? I don't think it's been long. I think like the I saw one. I'm not sure if it's like if it was true or not, but I think it was last year they were playing some game and they didn't have anyone in the audience.
It wouldn't surprise them because of the probably for the TV alone.
Oh yeah, so you just started. That's what I thought. It's only just started. Yeah, I'm not just. I don't know. I suppose American football is close to rugby because we use the same shapes ball kind of thing. So, but I think it's pretty much similar. But we use, I suppose, it's a bit more. Yeah.
Similar in rugby.
Yeah.
We've got rugby and we they kind of play them different.
Yeah, it's just the rugby. Yeah, it is quite similar. I
But
suppose if anything, it's the similar, the
Yeah, 'cause the one
closest you can get
the
to
one
it.
we watched is
No.
the other one is a bit more.
First game of the real season was last week, and it was pre-season before that for the NFL. My goodness. I wonder, like, how, if, like, because obviously, like, with COVID and 2020 just being such, like, an epic fail for everything, whether these, like, men who've now had to, like, start training again, whether it's, like, really affected them because they were so used to their hardcore training, wondering if they did their hardcore training still when they were on lockdown. I know that's a really bizarre thing to think about, but I actually did think about that the other day. It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy. I like going in person, but on TV is less appealing. Yeah, I get that. I understand. I can, yeah, I do. I get that. Especially the college games. Yeah, it is. I think, yeah, I'd love to actually go, like, to, like, the proper Welsh game. I'm not gonna lie, the atmosphere would be immense. Yeah, and I love the Welsh national anthem. It's like such a I can't. I used to be able to sing it, and I can sing bits of it still now, but I can't. I can't do it all anymore. I used to be able to in school, and we do it in school and stuff, but that was many, many years ago. I really enjoyed going to the Packers game a couple of years ago. Yeah. It's different. I think it's just the atmosphere, isn't it, of going to a stadium and watching your team play or any team play, really. Do you know what I mean? It's just I don't know, it's just something a bit different, isn't it? It's something like that you can do and you can watch, and I don't know, it's a bit weird. Yes, please. I would like to. I really would. I think it would be. Yeah, I know. I'm just not really into anything like that. I like rugby. I like the Welsh rugby, and that's probably where I'd only ever want to, like, buy a ticket for and spend that kind of money. But there's people that, like Carl's brother, if the Welsh rugby's playing, or if rugby's playing full stop, but especially if Wales are playing, if you ring him, he will literally scream at you down the phone. He's like, "Why are you ringing me? You know the game's on. Like, don't ring me." He's so passionate about it. It's funny. He's like super, like, into his Welsh games, like. But it's weird. I wanted to. I sort of started this live with sort of something in my head that I wanted to discuss. So, like, everybody, you can rewatch it later, and whoever's, like, want to watch it or don't want to watch it, as the case may be. But something's been really, really bothering me lately is all of this people, especially subs, being made to choose between creators. And that's super, super bothering me because it shouldn't be like a sub should be able to go anywhere they freaking want to. And for somebody to come and try and take somebody's a creator's subs is really, really, like, disgusting and disgraceful. And what's more, and then it's just so sad that these people are listening to someone that is just nothing. They're not getting facts, or they're not getting anything because there's purely nothing to give. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not like somebody. It's not like they've come and they've said, "Don't go and watch Jo no more. She's done this, 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 and this." Where? Like, what have I done? because I know dang well I haven't done a dang thing. Do you know what I mean? And then that just like really upsets me then, because I'm like, so basically it's just took someone coming to you and saying, oh well, Joe's not a good person, or Joe did this, and you've literally like accepted it and been like, oh okay, then yeah, that sounds about right, without any at all. Like it's driving me nuts. I can't stand that. And if I hear anyone say that, I won't go back to their channel. Like, it's just craziness though. Like, honestly, I can't even bear it. Like, people should be able to go where they damn well want. I don't have to like the people that you like. You don't have to like the people that I like. It's gross. It really, and the people that are actually listening and they're not coming to my chat because they're fearful of what other creators will do. Like, how sad is that? Like, how sad is that? It's just insane. I can't even like begin to even just, I can't. I can't. There's nothing that I can say that's positive about that. And if all I'm going to say to subs is that if somebody is telling you something about me, ask for the proof or come and ask me. I'm very open and honest. If I've done shit, you know I'll fucking own it. But I know 100% I haven't done anything. The only like back and forth I've got into of late is the Jean thing, because I didn't like how Jean was spoken to, and I got into a little back and forth with Siwa, but that was in private chat. It was literally like a something and nothing. It was like a little back and forth in a private chat. I started watching history stuff and totally different things due to that very thing. It's just I don't get it, sweet. I don't. Like, you don't own subs, and if subs are scared then because they don't know how other creators will react or will come towards you and be like, oh my god, what if they come after me? That's pretty damn sad. Like, you know, I don't like that. And that makes me sad. That makes me sad that, you know, subs listen to one person or two people or three people or a little group of like nastiness and going through and like, oh, but you don't want to do this because Joe did this and Joe did that, or you know, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's craziness, especially as I know, and I can like, I haven't done shit. Like, I don't go to other people's chats. I don't go to cause problems anywhere. I don't cause mischief, or I don't get into the drama with people. I'd rather not, you know. And the whole thing with like Siwa and Jules, I don't like that, and I don't care who it was. If it was the worst person on the world, I still wouldn't, because I don't like somebody's RAPE being used as a tool to hurt someone. I don't care who you are. Somebody tried to use it against me and I didn't like it then either. It happens on Facebook too. If you're friends with so and so, I can't be friends with you. I feel like that's so fucking childish. Like, when did we all go back to school? Like, in reality, it doesn't, I literally, like, not what, it must have only been about a month ago. I was taking the dog out and I walked past a couple of the children that live on our street. And I'm bearing in mind these kids are like between 5 and 7. And I heard one of them saying, if you're going to be her friend, I'm not going to speak to you and I'm not going to be your friend anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, this is freaking YouTube. Except they have a perfect excuse. Their age is between like 5 and 7. I expect it around that age. I can't believe that like grown women are dictated to who they can come and watch and who they can't.
So they're not being dictated to, they're choosing to,
or being feared in fear of coming because they're like, oh God, I don't want to do that just in case somebody sees me in there, and then oh my God, everything's going to kick off, and then I'll be like abused online, and that's just that's just crazy to me. That's just insane to me, because I'm not that. I've been through the ringer on YouTube, and if somebody can honestly think that I'm this big bad bitch in comparison to what other people have done in of recent, I don't get it. I don't know how to help you, because to me that's just insane. You'd rather not come into a chat because you're fearful if somebody's going to shout at you. Craziness. Yeah.
but you know, it's their choice.
Yeah.
They're also,
It's just nuts. I just find it really sad. I do. I find it really, really sad that you're in fearful of going into certain chats because of, God forbid, like, you know, you support a creator that another creator don't like. That's just insane to me. And then, like, you know, you've got when creators become sort of joined at the hip, then you get the whole, like, you know, the tag teaming, and oh, that's fine, no worries. I'm just waffling on, don't worry about it. I just think it's just super sad. It just irritates me, and it just pisses me off. It wouldn't be so bad. Like, I bet if I sat here and did all fucking drama, like, they'd be okay with that. If I sat here, threatened people and told people that they were pieces of shit and took the piss out of them being RAP'd or their DVs, they'd want to watch that. They'd be happy to come and watch that. But because I don't want to be part of that in any shape or form, I don't want to be any part of drama. I've been there, done it, and it takes a toll on your mental health. And it's took a toll on my mental health still to this day. It's took a toll on my mental health. And people want to choose that way and go just to watch somebody's shit show. And that's on them. I don't know what to say to help them on that one. That is on them. I'm not gonna, like I've said before, like, I'll talk to my freaking self. You know, I'll talk to myself on here. I'll just do uploads again for a little while or whatever. It's, you know, I got videos to do that I can do. It's not a huge deal. Then if you're not in the crowd and you have anything new to say, they prove it. It's just gossip. Exactly. And the thing is, like, Sweet Bee, I know that I haven't done anything. I know. So I know that there's nothing, unless they're showing old stuff, which is quite possible, and making out that it's new. I don't know. But either way, it's just, I think people who've watched me for a good few months, or even, you know, even longer, should know by now, and have seen that the change in the channel, the change of the channel's gone, and the change in me towards the channel. Do you know what I mean? And if that's their choice, and then that's their choice. You know, it's happened a few times on YouTube. In my tiny little YouTube career, or whatever you want to call it. It's not a career, it's bollocks, but whatever you want to call it. My YouTube time. There we go. That's a better word, because it's really not a fucking career. It's happened a few times, and there's some things. I've been here since the beginning. Yes, you have, babe, I know. And if people can't see that, like, do you know what I mean? Like, how how can they not see that the channel has changed and I've like got so much different, and that I'm not involved in any of this bullshit, and I refuse to be involved in any of this bullshit, because that's what it is to me, is bullshit. I refuse to go along with the crowd just in fear of having somebody have a fucking epi fit on me. Like, no. Yeah. And I will stick to doing that. And if that means that people want to unsub, or they just don't want to watch me anymore, or fearful of watching me, then okay, that's on them. I can't help not wanting to be in being in the drama, like, you know. But any little change, if anyone else, they point that out. Yeah. Just it just drives me nuts. Honestly, B, it just drives me nuts. I just can't deal. I'm just like, I don't understand. I wish I did understand. It would be great if I could understand, because then maybe I'd be like, well, okay, I see where they're coming from, or no, that's not the bullshit, or do you know what I mean? I'd be able to, I suppose I'd be able to stand up for myself. But when you don't know, when it's all the slyness and the sneaky behind the scenes crap, go into each person individually and, like, quote unquote, making friends with them just so that they can turn on somebody, that's just there's a whole it's just yeah, it's a whole level of disgusting. It really is. There's a whole level of disgusting.
You'll find there's no issue with
Mm-hmm. I don't know. But I'm not going to go down the road of buying subscribers and buying views. Sorry, never done it, and nor am I going to ever. Never, 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 never. Mm-mm. I've never done it, and I'm not going to, because it stands out a bloody mile.
Well,
Like, I could, like, buy 1,000 subs now and still have the same in chat. That doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And I'd rather keep my money because I'm a skinflint.
well, yeah.
I'd rather buy a pair of jeans.
But it's more tangible.
I don't know how much buying them is, but I guess that I could buy a pair of jeans with that money. I don't know. I've never actually looked. But I'm hoping that I'm about right. I could buy a decent pair of jeans. That's a good way to never grow your channel. Yeah, it has to be organically. It does. But you see, I've seen like a few channels, and it's so blatantly obvious, and I'm like, why? Okay, yeah, you've got like 4,000 subscribers, or you've got like 9, or you've got 20 or 10 or whatever it is, but why? It stands out a mile when, you know, your uploads are not getting no more than mine, and I'm not getting that many views. You're getting under 500 on 80% of videos that you're doing. It stands out a huge mile. And it doesn't make any difference with subscribers. Like, it really doesn't. I'd rather go slow all the way. They get busted and called out, are they? And rightfully so. Like, rightfully so. I do believe that. Like, I do believe rightfully so. Because you're cheating the system, you know? You're cheating the system to where it's like, well, not everyone obviously, but the huge percentage of people are doing it slowly and, you know, trying to do something good and trying to be like better with your channel, and then other people want so desperately to get to that 2,000 or that 3,000, 4,000, whatever, 10,000, 12, whatever it is, and they want so desperately to get there that when you stop buying them, it 100% stands out a mile. I'm just so fed up with this freaking community. I really am.
Unfortunately, I don't think European people are better.
I need to find like something new for my channel, something new, something more, or just something different than just like bullshit. Because a lot of these people, they say they don't like drama, they don't like the fighting, but then they're right in the middle of it. They're right in like the channels that are doing it, you know, like they're right there front and center when channels are being like really gross. Like, do you know what I mean? Like really, really gross. And they're up in there like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, what? I don't understand how anyone can be like that. When some, yeah, I'm going to stick to my morals. I'm going to stick to with, you know, I like the way my channel is going. It's going slowly, yes. This is a little bit of a hiccup, and you know, it is what it is. I can't make people want to be here. I can't make people not listen to random idiots, and that's on them, like, you know. But I'm certainly not either gonna play this nastiness back and forth, because that's just, I'm not about that either. I'll sit here for freaking hours and just like talk and spat at things. This is the day in the history type thing. That would be interesting. That's a good idea. Or like the monarchy or something like that. Or like, yeah.
This day, 400 years ago.
Oh, that would be interesting. I tell you what, we got a lot of here, and I thought about this the other day, because I'm sure I'm not the only like weirdo that likes old castles. I love old castles, like old ones, and we've got quite a lot around here. And there's this one, it's called Cairo, and it's the most beautiful little castle. It's so beautiful. And I was like, I'd love to like go and do some footage around it and do like the history of it, because it's such a beautiful place. And then like next time we go home down towards south, do like Tinton Abbey, because Tinton Abbey is the most beautiful. It's like all that's left is just like remains of it, but it's still one of the most beautiful places and peaceful places in the world. Like they do midnight mass there. I've been there a few times, and it's really cold, obviously, but it's so like just the remains that are left there. And we have big candles and we sing songs and we did a little walk, and it was just the most beautiful thing. So I was like, I like things like that. I love like anything like old buildings and like what they were for and why they're like they are now and what they were built for, the history behind it, the architecture, and I love that kind of thing. I could do one on Cairo and see how that goes down. Because the one on the Cairo Castle, honest to God, is lush. It's the most beautiful building I think I've ever seen. And it's only tiny as well. It's not like this big, massive castle. It's quite petite. And it's got like a little walk all the way around it. It's so beautiful. I wouldn't mind like doing that. I thought about that the other day. Cairo Castle. And then I thought about Tinton. I was like, Tinton is just like magical.
They've all got a lot.
Yeah. But Tinton is just like, there's not much there as in visual, but the remains
what
there.
Is there?
It's
is
beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Yeah. That's why I said maybe next time we go down that way, like maybe when we drop Sissy off or something, we can carry on a little bit further on to Tinton and do that, because it is really beautiful. And we really lucky around here, you know, we got such amazing history around here. I wouldn't mind doing some of like the history around here, especially like the miners and stuff like that. Like, you know, the miners back in the day, you know, these men would like, yeah, the Welsh mining was a huge industry back in the day. You know, everyone, their grandfather was a miner or their father was a miner. You know, it's that kind of thing. Everyone was a miner until that sort of went away, and poverty hit real bad then in Wales. But like the mining industry is crazy when you deep dive into the history of it. It's incredible. It really is incredible and incredibly scary as well. Is that how many people like died from the soot on their lungs was just insane, because obviously back then they didn't have health and safety like they do nowadays, you know? Like nowadays, you'd never be allowed to go down there without all the masks and breathing equipment and stuff like that. Like we're back in the day, they just put scarves over their face, over their nose and mouths, and be down there for 12, 14, 16 hours. My dad was a miner when I was a baby. The Welsh mines are like a huge, huge deal here, like especially sort of up in the valleys and stuff like that. And when like the jobs stopped in the mines, the poverty hit so badly in Wales that, you know, people, it was like going back to like rationings and stuff. It was really bad. It was a really, really bad when the mines shut down. But there's also like some really good historical places here. There's a museum. I wouldn't mind doing like some footage around there. It's free to get in. This museum is really, really cool. It's a free museum to get into. You just have to pay for parking, which is like £2, which is nothing. And then you can like, and it shows you like what the houses were like from back in the day, and you can go into each house and it shows you like what the bedrooms was like, what the kitchen was like, how they would cook their food, how they do their laundry, and it's so immense. I wouldn't mind doing a video of that either, because it's not that far away. It's only in what, Cardiff? Is it Swansea or Cardiff? Yeah.
It's a bit further than that. You've got to go to Cardiff and then go towards the
Barry,
airport.
yeah,
So
towards Barry.
yeah, you got to go.
It's only a couple of hours. That's what happens in Wyoming now. With the coal mines, it's so sad, because like a lot of people, and probably the same there as in Wales, everybody and their father worked in the mines, and then all of a sudden nobody had a job. You know what I mean? Like everyone had a job, and it wasn't necessarily a massive, well-paid job as such, but it was definitely a decent job. You know, you got housing, and it was and you got housing, and a lot of these little old houses still standing in the valleys are Welsh workers' homes, you know. And when obviously that hit, people were losing their homes. They had no money coming in. They didn't have anything. You know, they literally had nothing at all. It was just craziness. And it was so sad. Yeah, St. Fagans. St. Fagans is a really, 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 it's an amazing place. If anybody's ever in Wales, I would highly recommend St. Fagans. It's free to get in, which is freaking amazing. You pay, it used to be like £2, it's probably gone up to like a fiver now or something in parking, but they basically just use it. They use the parking funds to keep the museum going. I have pictures of our family when there was mining, and we actually lived in an 1800s log 2-room house. Yep, 2 up, 2 down. That's crazy.
No, not a lot.
That's crazy. I'd love to see the pictures of that. That would be immense. It's crazy though, isn't it? Like the mining was just such a huge thing. I didn't realize there was such a thing in Wyoming though as well. So that's interesting. Like I wouldn't mind maybe having a when I'm doing that sort of history to have a look at the Wyoming. What am I saying it right? Wyoming.
Yeah,
Maybe have a look and see the difference in how it was like how each.
because I think she's going back about 2022 long. How far is she going back?
She said she actually has a picture. Well, her dad worked in the mines when she was little for a bit, but then she says she has pictures of when her family were actually living in the 1800s.
I don't know what.
It'd be interesting to see the difference, wouldn't it? To see how like they are dealing now to then. My dad mined in Colorado, though. Then we moved to Wyoming. That's crazy. It is just incredible, honestly. I wouldn't mind looking at that sort of having to do some research on that because it is fascinating. It really is. It's fascinating stuff.
The differences between the nations.
Yeah, I definitely want to go to St. Falcons at some point. Like just go on a run day and just do some filming and stuff. The mine was for silver. Was a silver mine. Wyoming is coal. Yeah, ours was coal.
Yeah, the Romans took all gold.
Yeah, we haven't got any gold and silver. Probably somewhere, but
we have got quite a bit. But the Romans
yeah, we is all well in Wales is coal and
mainly coal.
Yeah, mainly coal. That's why a lot of people died quite early in life because after being in the coal mines for 12 hours a day, sometimes longer, and then coming up, they were going down when it was dark, coming up when it was dark, and being in a dark coal mine is not healthy. Like nowadays, it would never, there'd be so much health and safety issues.
Still have issues today, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's a lot. Yeah.
This is where you get all this blood diamond things from.
Yeah.
You have the kids basically getting a diamond.
It's like oil, isn't it? It's like the oil is super dangerous on these oil rigs. That's why they get paid lots of money and stuff like that. Wyoming is the largest coal deposits in America's continent, and the most fossils. Wow, I didn't know that. I definitely have to have a look at that.
The thing about Wales, it's the anthracite, whatever it's called, but it's the quality of the coal.
There's a lot of slate as well, isn't there?
Yeah, we've got a lot of slate mines. The one recently in North Wales was, I think, the UNESCO, whatever they call it.
Oh wow!
World Heritage.
I know one of the ones up in I think it's west actually, up in west. No, up in North Wales. There's a slate. No, the Big Pit. Where's that? Cwmbranwy, isn't it? Yeah, the Big Pit is coal, and then the other part of it was slate, which was pretty cool. Blenavon, that's it. Yeah, it was Blenavon. There's one not far from us, or not far from where we grew up, or I grew up, not him. And you can literally go down there, and you can like go and see and how they would be. It's only like an hour. You go down and have like a little look around kind of thing, come back up. But we'd do it on school trips. That's pretty interesting. Wyoming did a lot of strip mining. Colorado did a lot of shaft mining. Yeah, ours was down shafts.
Yeah, the Romans, when they stole the gold with strip mining.
Yeah. Ours is a lot of shaft. And like the things that they would do is just like, no wonder they were like super tough men.
Yeah.
Like the work, their backs must have like killed. It's just the strenuous. The job of it is like holy moly.
No, you can definitely see the historical people today.
Yeah, my daddy used to work, put up, you know, in America, you've got like the highways, you know, there's like metal barriers between the like the divides between the ongoing and traffic to stop you sort of going in. My dad did that for a living in the UK, though, obviously. It's called crash barrier, what we would call it. I don't know I think you call it divides or something like that. And that's what my dad would do for a living. And my dad was a very, very strong man. Although looking at him, you would like literally never think it in a second, because my dad was short. He was like 5'6", and he was fairly thin man, but the things that this man could pick up was like, how are you doing that? That is insane to me. Hi Shahid, how are you, honey? But he was such a strong man because of the industry he was in, like putting up crash barrier. I remember like us doing it as kids. I would do the wheelbarrow and I would have to do the nuts and bolts to each bit, you know. And then my mum was like 9 months pregnant. This was like Christmas time, and my brother came the beginning of January. And my mum was doing it at like 9 months pregnant. She was putting up this crash barrier. It was like insane. I've already been on for 40 minutes. I was really intended to come on for like half hour and just say a little bit, but I ended up stopping and talking about the mine. It is super interesting though. I definitely would be really interested in going to somewhere like the Big Pit or St. Fagans or something, and doing some footage there. And I worked road construction when I was married to my first husband. It's super hard work, isn't it? My daddy did it for forever. Like he came out of the Navy and he went straight into that kind of work, and he was his own boss. So he would literally like hire a team. My brother left school at 16. Well, he wasn't even 16, he was 15, but long story. But he ended up leaving school dead early and going with my dad. And at the age of like 15, 16, my brother was earning like $2,000 a week. He was, you know, it's good money because it used to be like danger money and stuff, like working on live roads and stuff like that. But then if it was like a dead road, what is called, if they've closed the whole motorway off or highway off, then it's called a dead road. Then us kids was allowed to go. My ex did it for a very long time. It's really, really hard work. We did it growing up. Like we used to go all all over our country, like to different places, because we didn't have holidays as such. Our holidays would be going wherever daddy was. Like we spent like a month in Stonehenge, and we spent 6 weeks, well 9 or 7 weeks in Scotland on our summer break. We did that a few times. Wherever daddy was working, we'd end up just going there with daddy in the caravan. And so it was kind of like a holiday, but daddy had to work and mummy had to work. And so like the boys would have to work and us kids would just sort of do whatever. I'm doing super great today. I'm glad that you're doing good, Shade. It is definitely a hard job for sure. It's not the easiest job in the world. I don't think any job's like dead easy though, to be honest. Even like McDonald's and stuff, you stand on your feet for like many hours. Dealing with Karens probably like a million times a day.
You're not allowed to say that on the
Well, I'm not on the BBC.
BBC. Oh, it'll come into no.
No, like, and even just like in like restaurants and stuff like that, like they get paid such a crappy wage. And these people, like, I've always said, don't mess with people who's touching your food, dude.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the wages have gone basically downhill substantially.
Yeah, and a lot of people rely on tips and stuff, and they buy to people that don't tip. And like here, it's not like
Not like in America.
it's not like in America. It's not like
Although they have started doing it.
yeah, it's not a necessity. Like you don't have to tip. We always do because we always like feel like it's like if a waitress have done a really good job that they should be like tipped, and we do it all the time. Even if it's bad, we do it, to be fair. Just because it's not the waitress's fault normally.
It was bad service.
If it was bad service, then okay, it's different. If they like, I did have somebody literally like slam the plate down in front of my mother, and I lost my shit. But other than that, nobody tips fast food here. Yeah, nobody does here either. Only if we go and sit down. But it's like, in America, it like got on the like when you have the bill, it's got like the tip bit. It hasn't got that here. Yeah, it hasn't got that here. So it's up to you then whether you leave a tip or not. We always do, just because I think I've worked the bars and stuff, and for me it was like I earned more money on tips than I did during my wage. I would literally work like 3 nights.
Yeah.
And I would earn quite a bit of money on tips. I actually lost the job because I was earning too much on tips. That's the God's honest truth. I literally lost it. I got fired for earning too much on tips, which is just craziness, but it's true. The only time I've ever got fired from a pub job for doing a good job. I still can't even fathom that. That was just incredible. Just because it was a family-run business, and I was the only one that wasn't the family. And they were all getting pissy because I was earning quite a bit on tips and they weren't. And I was like, okay, well, we'll just everyone put their tips into a jar and we'll share it at the end of the week. And still that wasn't good enough. And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. And then she was like, well, nobody can accept tips anymore. And yeah, people didn't like that. They were like, who's your boss? I was like, her. And they were like, why can't she accept a tip? I was like, because she can't. We're not doing tips anymore. That's ridiculous. And it all kicked off, didn't it? Mm-hmm. And then like the next day or the day after, I got like, yeah, there's no more shifts for you. Like, I'm getting fired for earning too many tips. That's just fucking stupid. That's just insane. But anyway, it's gone 8 o'clock. I'm going to get off. We've got to take fuck lunch. Like, we haven't eaten yet because I had a late nap because I babysat last night and kids wore me out. How's your husband doing, sweet pea? So I'm going to get off. Thank you for the few that joined. I do appreciate it. And anyone who watches the replay, I really do appreciate it. And I'm sorry, anyone who's fearful of coming in. I apologize. And I hope that things ease out and you don't feel scared anymore. I don't know how to fix it. And I'm sorry about that. And I'm truly sorry about that. So I shall catch you all soon. Thank you so much for joining. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.